Reviewing NHL games of December 12th, 2018. There are only 4 games on today, and I have to admit, when I first looked at them, none of them really looked that exciting to me. And the one that I thought might have been the best game was probably the least. And that's first up. That was the Vegas Golden Knights versus the New York Islanders. Both teams trying to claw their way, into the playoffs. More so Vegas than anything else, who's been really good of late. Basically, as good as Fleury goes, they go. Because their backup goaltending, unlike last year, isn't it's not what I call really good. A Vegas note here. Notes off the top. The Knights, weirdly enough, have beaten up until this game, had beaten every team in the NHL except for the New York Islanders. Yeah, I made that face too. Yeah. Another Vegas note. This is funny and sad at the same time. It's like Roman theater. So ancient Roman theater. McNabb from the Vegas Golden Knights, the defenseman, he gets in the first period he gets hit with a high stick right in the face, and then later in the game, while he's sitting on the bench, he gets hit in the face with a puck while just sitting there minding his own business, and he had to leave. He was all bloodied up and everything. It was like, wow, what a unlucky night for him. Another note here, in the third period, the third period was delayed like 15 minutes because the lights went out. This game was played in Brooklyn, I believe, and they couldn't get the lights back on. So everyone was both teams were out there skating around, chatting, having coffee, until, finally the game got going again. Let's get to the scoring here. First period, Marchessault of the Golden Knights gets his 12th of the season on the power play, assisted by Miller and Smith. Then the Islanders tied up. Beauvillier gets his 9th of the season, assisted by Boychuk and Barzal. Now, this goal comes off a bad Pacioretty turnover. Yeah, bad Pacioretty. Bad. Second period, Islanders make it 2-1. They go ahead. A goal by Pelch. I have to read up on this guy. I do not know who this player is. He gets his third goal of the season, and assisted by Barzal, who gets his second point of the night already. Then Vegas ties it up on a shot from Carlson, who gets his 11th of the season, unassisted. I want to say this was kind of like a heavy wrister from the right circle, which finds its way across and over Leonard's shoulder to the corner of the net. Third period, Nosek. Vegas goes ahead. They get the game winner on this goal. Nosek gets his 3rd of the season, assisted by Lindbergh and Carpenter. This sounds like the 4th line to me, or is it the 3rd? Maybe it's the 3rd. Now, the puck had dropped dead in front of Leonard, and he had a chance to cover it up. And his own defenseman was right there too, with his stick right next to the puck. And Leonard was just it's like he was hypnotized for a second or two, deer in headlights. And Nosek just scooped it up out of there and popped it into the side of the net. So I bet he would have liked that one back. Now, Fleury makes 23 saves on 25 shots. Leonard, 14 of 17. Vegas only had 17 shots on net. Vegas was 1 for 1 on the power play. The Islanders are 0 for 1. Where do we go next here? The shots per period were 7-5 for Vegas, then 12-5 for the Islanders, and in the third they were 8-5 for the Islanders. Vegas is now 8-2-0 in their last 10. This is their second win in a row. The Islanders are 4-4-2 in their last 10. This is their second loss in a row. And the Knights are now 18-14-1 with 37 points overall. They're in the playoff picture. I believe there's a 3-way tie now with Anaheim, who won today, and San Jose. And they're all, of course, behind Calgary. New York Islanders are now 14-12-4 with 32 points. Stars of the game were Nosek with one goal, first star, Barzal with the second, Carlson with a third. Nosek had a goal, Barzal had 2 assists, and Carlson had 1 goal. Next game, we have the Chicago Blackhawks beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-3. I'm a Chicago Blackhawk fan, but man, Pittsburgh missed an opportunity today on their attempts to climb back into a relevant playoff picture, so to speak. Some notes here. Chicago dropped 8 games coming into this one, so you can say you can say, oh well, their morale may have been low, or they might have been really hungry, to win this game, and your guess would have been right if it was the latter. Note on Pittsburgh, Rust got his second career hat trick in this game. Another Chicago note here. Late in the game, Patrick Kane slammed into the boards trying to score, just like sliding and reaching, trying to knock a puck into an empty net. And he hit the boards kind of hard, and he looked like he was in pain. He got to the bench on his own, but he didn't look so good. So we'll see. Hopefully he's not hurt bad and he doesn't miss the next game. Let's get to the scoreboard here. First period, Martinson, gets his first goal of the season, assisted by Dahlstrom and Kruger, 1-0 Chicago. Seabrook then scores for Chicago to make it 2-0. His 4th of the year, assisted by Taves. Pittsburgh gets one back, make it 2-1. Rust gets his 2nd of the season, unassisted. We move on to the second period. Rust, boom, gets his 2nd goal of the game, 3rd of the year, assisted by Grant. And then Chicago goes ahead 3-2. They take the lead again. DeBrincat gets his 13th of the season on the power play from Kane and Seabrook. This was a gorgeous goal. Now, DeBrincat he skated into the zone without the puck, but it's like he smelt it. It's like he smelt blood in the water, and he booked it in through 3-4 different players, got right to the sweet spot, and just some soft hands, just roofed one. Just a gorgeous goal. He's such a great skater. I don't see 30 goals out of the question for him this year for DeBrincat. They're eventually going to have to pay this guy. Now, Pittsburgh ties it up again. They're not dead. Rust gets his 3rd of the night, his hat trick, assisted by Mata, and Aston Reese. However, a little asterisk on this goal. This Rust shot it, and it went off Seabrook's stick, who was trying to clear it, but he cleared it into his own net. So that's an own goal. Kind of a lucky hat trick there. Third period. Chicago pulls ahead. Kruger gets his 4th of the season, assisted by Martinson and Keith. Kruger and Martinson both get their 2nd point of the night. And then the next 2 are empty netters here. Taves gets his 2nd point of the night, his 14th of the year, assisted by Sad. And then, and I believe Taves injured himself right in between these 2 empty netters here. And then Sad gets his 2nd point of the night, his 9th goal of the season, assisted by Taves, who gets his 3rd point on the night. He had a really good night tonight. But Crawford looked amazing in this game. He made 40 of 43 saves. DeSmith saved 23 of 27. Chicago was 1 for 2 on the power play. Pittsburgh was 0 for 2. Chicago, as I said, they went into this game losing 8 in a row. So they're now 2-8-0 in their last 10, this being their first win. And Pittsburgh was 5-3-2 in their last 10, this being their first loss. The shots on goal per period, they were tied 13-0 in the first. Pittsburgh had 17-8 for them in the second, and then they outshot them. Pittsburgh outshot them again in the third, 13-8. Chicago's record is now 10-18-5 with 25 points, and Pittsburgh's is now 13-11-6 with 32. Still not out of the question, but this was a big game for them to drop. Opportunity missed. Next game up, we've got This was a barn burner, this game. Calgary Flames beat the Philadelphia Flyers 6-5. Now, you would have thought maybe Calgary might have easily won this game the way Philly's been playing the last little while all season, really. Calgary puts Mike Smith in net. Remember this. So let's go over what some notes I have here. In the first period, there's a little scare for Johnny Gaudreau. He falls awkward, sort of, into the boards, but that wasn't how he got injured. As he hit the boards, he fell, and Gudas from Philly was going in to hit him anyways, and incidentally, and it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't a dirty play, but he incidentally, as he fell, and Gudas's knee hit Gaudreau in the head, and he left the game, for concussion protocol and so on, but he ended up coming back. So that's good news for Flame fans. Another Calgary note here. The Flames got their league-leading 7th win when trailing after 2 periods in this game. And Philly just has bad positional D all the time. And sometimes the guys who are supposed to be covering the opponent in front of the net, they just look hypnotized. If they're not following the play. It's I don't know if Philly's fired their defensive coach yet, or if they have one specifically for that. But yeah, or if you just blame that on Hexall. But and also there was no resistance. They put up no resistance to plug up the neutral zone. Calgary just flew through there most of the game. So in any case, let's get to the scoring here. First period, Bennett scores for Calgary. His 5th of the season, assisted by Tkachuk and Quinn. 1-0 Calgary. Second period, Philly ties it up. Sanheim gets his 3rd of the season, assisted by Giroux. Then Calgary goes ahead 2-1. Giordano gets his 4th of the season, short-handed, assisted by Hamonic and Ryan. Then Philly ties it up again. JVR gets his 3rd of the season on the power play, assisted by Couturier and Giroux. Sorry, just ate gas. Then Philly goes ahead 3-2 on a goal from Couturier, his 11th of the season, assisted by Voracek and Provorov. And then 3-2, and then they go ahead 4-2 on a goal from Weiss, his 4th of the season, assisted by Gudas and Hag. Now this is what's my note here. Now this is Philly's 3rd goal in 1 minute and 48 seconds on Smith. Remember I mentioned him before the game on Mike Smith. Now this goal was a bad one. This was shot in almost from the blue line, and it was almost more like a wrister kind of just, let's just shoot it on net because we're going to change kind of thing, and it went in. It was just a really bad goal for Smith to let in, and you could just see his confidence just. Right afterwards, though, on a really beautiful tic-tac-toe play on the power play, Philly took too many penalties in this game. Monahan gets his 19th of the season, assisted by Tkachuk, who gets his 2nd point of the night, and Gaudreau. He's back and looking good. 3rd period. Now, start the 3rd period. Mike Smith is nowhere to be seen. Riddick. Not only does Riddick take his place, but Smith isn't even on the bench. He's nowhere. I haven't found out. I haven't heard anything about what happened to him. But if you know, please let me know in the comment section. Let us all know. So Couturier. So this doesn't help really to start with, because this was a breakaway goal, a shorthanded breakaway goal for Philly on Calgary, which was unassisted. Couturier gets his 12th of the season. It was hard to really, his first shot on net on Riddick, breakaway goal. It was kind of hard to blame him on that one. But then this is where Calgary just puts their heads down and they don't care what the score is. They just go for it. And Anderson gets his first of the season, assisted by Gaudreau, his second point of the night, and Tkachuk, his third point of the evening right now. Now, starting with this goal, I should have mentioned that the Calgary net's empty, so they've got 6 players on the ice, and they're just bombarding Philly at this point. So after they score this goal, they make it 6-5. So they were losing by 2 goals. They pull the goalie. They score. It's 6-5. They tie it up. Monahan gets his second goal of the game, 20th on the season, assisted by that's Monahan's second point of the night, assisted by Tkachuk, who gets his 4th assist of the game, and this is with only 7 seconds left. 7 seconds left. Calgary, just unbelievable. Overtime, Gaudreau scores, gets his 3rd point of the night. His 3rd, I guess he's okay. That needed the head didn't do much. That's his 13th goal of the season, assisted by Giordano, his 2nd point of the night, and assisted by Monahan, his 3rd point of the evening. Goaltenders, Phillies, Stolaraz, who actually looked good for a lot of this game. I know 6 goals he let in, but really this game could have been like 9-5. Stolaraz had a decent game despite the goals scored. A lot of them were high danger chances. In any case, he saved 36 of 42. Smith saved 10 of 14 before the 3rd period. Riddick went in, saved 4 of 5. Philly only got 19 shots on net. Calgary was just buzzing. They just gave them a free pass through the neutral zone. And in any case, Philly goes 1 for 3 on the power play. Calgary goes 1 for 6 on the power play. That's something to be worked on. In their last 10 games, Philadelphia is now 3-4-3, their 2nd loss in a row. Calgary is 7-2-1 in their last 10, this being their first win. The Phillies' record, the Flyers' record, is now 12-13-4 with 28 points. They are more and more every day looking like they're going to be sellers. And who knows, maybe they'll even pull the trigger before the December 19th deadline for the holidays, that is. Calgary is now 20-10-2 with 42 points. They're now first, not only in the Pacific, but they're first in the West now, with 3 other teams tied for second with 37 points, like I mentioned earlier, being Anaheim, San Jose, and Vegas, I think. That's it. That's all. Oh, I forgot the shots per period. Calgary had 12 to Phillies 8 in the first. In the second, Calgary had 10 to 6. And then in the third, Calgary outshot Vegas 16 to 4. And then overtime, it was Calgary 3. Again, Calgary outshot Philly 3 to 1. The one shot on that Philly had in overtime was was a breakaway with Provorov, and he made a bit of a deke but couldn't get it past Riddick, who made a beauty save. Last game of the evening, the Anaheim Ducks beat the Dallas Stars 6-3. Both these teams are seemingly trying to claw on to playoff spots, and Anaheim's been really good lately. Let me look at my notes here. Starting with Dallas, I like. I can't remember his first name now. I like Polak. He's the defenseman for Dallas, who used to play for the Leafs for, I want to say, 4 straight seasons, and he played for St. Louis before that. I like him. He can be good at, he's a big, sturdy guy, not really a fast skater at all. He's slow, but he's good at, he's a mean guy who can get guys out from in front of the net. But he has also been known for mistakes in Toronto over the years, and he was indirectly responsible for 2 Duck goals. On the first one, he lost a battle with Getzlaf on the boards, and I know, it's Getzlaf. That's what he does. He's really good at it. So we'll give that as a pass to Polak. The second goal he was indirectly responsible for, he pushed Bishop out of position. Bishop looked at him like he wanted to just rip his, yeah, he was mad. Maybe you can just chalk that up to bad luck, but he has a bit of a name for making, losing out on plays like that. In any case, Anaheim, note, Kashe gets his first career hat trick. Spoiler in this game. Yeah. So let's start with the scoring here. In the first period, Kashe gets his first goal of the evening. Ducks go up 1-0. His 6th of the season, assisted by Aberg. Second period, Dallas takes over. Bishop has looks really good through most of this game here too. He's in net for Dallas, for the Stars. Second period, it's tied. Heiskanen gets his 6th on the season on the power play for Dallas, assisted by Spezza and Lindell. Then Dallas goes ahead 2-0. Como gets his 3rd of the season, assisted by Shore and Dickinson. Then Dallas goes ahead 3-1. Radulov gets his 10th of the season on the power play, assisted by Fedun and Shore, who gets his 2nd point of the night. Then, just before the period ends, Kashe gets his 2nd goal of the evening, 7th of the season, assisted by Getzlaf, who gets his 900th career point. And the only other Anaheim Duck to do that is Timo Solani. Now, this is the goal where Getzlaf worked hard to beat Polak off the puck along the boards and just threw it to a completely open Kashe, maybe about, I want to say, 10 feet or 9 feet in front of the net. Bishop didn't have much of a chance on that one. Third period, it's an avalanche of it's like the Dallas Stars got anxiety stricken and forgot how to play because the Ducks were just all over them. It was a mix and a mash of Anaheim just really taking that momentum and running with it. Kashe makes it. He ties the game. So Ducks were leading. Dallas was leading 3-1 at one point. Now it's 3-2. Now the third period, Kashe ties it up, gets his hat trick, his 3rd goal, 3rd point of the game, assisted by Ritchie and Montour. This was a bad goal by Bishop too. He wasn't Kashe shot this from the side, but from the side of the net, and Bishop wasn't pressed up against the post. He let like this much space, and that's where the puck went. Bad goal for Bishop. And then the Ducks then go up. Oh my God! 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go up 4-3 here. This is the game-winning goal by Montour. He gets a 2nd point of the night. His 5th of the season, assisted by Getzlaf, who also gets his 2nd point of the night. And this goal was scored a minute 21 later after the Kashe hat trick here. And this was the goal where Polak completely bumped and pulled Bishop out of position on the net, and Montour had like a wide open net almost to score on. That's when, Bishop gave Polak the death stare there. Then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-3 now. Silverberg gets his 9th of the season, assisted by Cogliano and Montour. Montour gets his 3rd point of the night. A little asterisk on this goal. This is the 4th game in a row in which Silverberg has a goal, and this was actually went under review because it sort of went off his skate and in the net, but there was no kicking motion on it. So, and you could see that we could tell before even the refs got the call from the replay. Then Anaheim hammers in the stake through the heart here, the empty net goal. Lindholm gets his 4th of the season, assisted by Montour. 4 points on the night. 4. Like I said, that's the empty netter. Get to the goalies here. Bishop makes 30 saves on 35 shots. Really, he just let in that, I want to say, that one bad goal for the most part. Otherwise, he played, a decent game. Gibson makes 25 stops on 28 shots. Dallas goes 2 for 3 on the power play. Anaheim goes 0 for 1. The shots on the first period were 15-5 Anaheim. In the second period were 13-7 Dallas. That's Dallas's apparently bread and butter is their second period. And then in the third period, Anaheim outshot Dallas 14-11. In the last 10 games, Dallas is 5-4-1, and they've lost. This is their second loss in a row, and Anaheim is 8-2-0, and this is their second win in a row. Anaheim is one of the hottest teams in the league right now, even with all the injuries and all the adversity that they face. Of course, if you remember, Ryan Miller went down in the last game. I want to say towards the end of the third period, sprained his ankle or his knee or ligament or something, and Gibson had to come in, and so Miller's out. I want to say like 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. And Anaheim claimed Chad Johnson off of St. Louis because he was put on waivers. So we'll see if they even use Johnson, as he's got a second chance here to prove himself. Games on Thursday, December 13th. There's 8 of them. Lots of good stuff here. The Buffalo Sabres versus the Arizona Coyotes. The Los Angeles Kings versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets should be very upset over the last few games they played and that they've lost. I think they last lost against Vancouver. And a lot of them are by like 1 goals, I believe. Next game we have the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Montreal Canadiens. Both of those teams coming off of losses. Montreal off that big one off of the Minnesota Wild was a 7-1, and Carolina coming off the loss to the Leafs, a 4-1 loss to the Leafs. So yeah, 2 angry teams here. Then we have what could be the game of the night here: the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, the number 2 team in the league versus the number 1 team in the league, point-wise, obviously. So a lot of eyeballs will be on that, including my own. Then we have the Vancouver Canucks versus the Nashville Predators. Did Vancouver beat Nashville last time they played? I know Nashville hasn't been, they're like 5-5 in their last 10 or something. They haven't been great. And Vancouver has turned it around in the last few games. I think they've won 3 in a row now, if I'm not mistaken. Next game we have the Minnesota Wild playing the Florida Panthers. Minnesota coming off that beating of Montreal when they won 7-1. Florida, I want to say they lost that game to St. Louis. Was it 4-3 or something? Was it overtime or was it just regulation? I think it was just regulation. Next game, Edmonton Oilers versus the Winnipeg Jets. That'll be a doozy. Edmonton has looked really good since under Hitchcock. They played really well, and they just came off a win off of Colorado. Winnipeg, I can't remember who they played last, but they're playing well right now. I think they played Chicago last. They beat Chicago in their last game. And then the last game of the night here is the Dallas Stars versus the San Jose Sharks. Dallas is playing back-to-back. We'll see if Hudobin starts in net for the Stars. And this is an opportunity for, Dallas to get ahead of the pack here. Because they have 37 points, and now Anaheim's now ahead of those other 2 teams, which is Vegas, who has 37, and San Jose, who also has 37. So if San Jose wants to keep up, they've got to win that game. That's it. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. Hit like if you like this video. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And don't feel shy about sharing this with any of your hockey geek friends. And as always, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about today's games. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.